Hi, welcome to the EcoHeidi Show. I'm Heidi Borchers. I've got a cool show for you today. We are going to be using food. Now, we're not going to be cooking with it, we're going to craft with it. There's also a little bit of history in this show. Mama Aline from Aline's Tacky Glue, she was a pioneer in the craft industry. Years ago in the 40s and 50s, there wasn't a craft industry. So she wrote lots of books in the early days that had to do with things that were recycled and eco. In those days, there was no such word as recycle and eco. But she did books that were like plastic bottle books, things to do with plastic bottles, things to do with magazines, egg cartons, cardboard tubes, decorate your discards, trim your trash, glitter your garbage. That's what we're going to do today. This is her book from the early 1960s, Glitter Your Garbage. It had some of the original bread dough flowers in it and lots of other cool bread dough projects, also some things with cornflakes in it. It was a really fun book. So today I wanted to show you the recipe on making the letters out of bread dough. It's a little bit different than the flowers. I've showed you the flowers before on how to make the little flowers out of bread and glue. This one's a little bit different, has a few different ingredients. Also, my friend Candace J is coming by to show you how to use Tootsie Rolls. Yes, she's going to use Tootsie Rolls on a project. It's a real fun project. Also, one of the old books that Mama Aline did was decorating with macaroni. So I went into my pasta drawer and came out with a fabulous design to show you how to do that. So let's get started and let me show you what I did with bread dough. This recipe for making bread dough is a little bit different than making it with just for the flours. For the flours we use the bread, a slice of the white bread, and we use the tacky glue. This time we're going to add cornstarch, we're adding a little bit more cold cream, and we're also going to add lemon juice, just regular old lemon juice. So I've already put some bread in here, and I actually put my bread in the food processor. So I cut off my crust, put it in the food processor. I have 2 slices of bread, and right now I have 2 tablespoons of the cornstarch. So now I'm going to add 2 teaspoons, kind of guess on this, 2 teaspoons of the lemon juice. And then we're going to add 2 tablespoons of the Aline's Easy Flow Tacky Glue. So we have 1, 2, and here comes 2. And we're going to add a dab of cold cream. So in here right now, again, I have 2 slices of bread. I removed the crust. I put the 2 slices into a food processor there on the bottom. I have 2 tablespoons of the cornstarch. I have 2 teaspoons of lemon juice. And I have 2 tablespoons of the Aline's Tacky Glue, the Easy Flow. And just a dab of the cold cream. And now we're going to stir it. Just mix it. And until it all sticks together. And this dough I don't usually color. I usually mix it, roll it out, and then I'm going to show you how to use the cookie cutters for it. Now when it all sticks together like that, that's what you want, but you're going to have to, no matter what, you're going to have to go in and put your hands in it. So I put a little bit of cold cream on my hands, and then I bring it out when I have it all stuck together. Bring it out and just start working with it. And get a little bit more dough in there. We want to get all that because it comes out perfectly. There we go. So now I just start mixing it. Let me see if I can get the extra. And just keep, and as you go along, it comes right off your hands. And get all that so it's not too sticky of a dough, because you want to get all that we measured into there. And you just knead it. And it's starting to come together. See how it's starting to come a really nice dough. So now at this point, if you get it all off your fingers, you're going to put it into a plastic bag, because remember that this is a dough that air dries. So we're going to put it in here, seal it off, and I'm going to clean everything up, and I'll be right back to show you how to roll it out. My dough's all mixed, and I have wax paper. I have a little bit of like shower to shower, like body powder. I like this because it has kind of a glittery, kind of glistening. It's hard to explain, but I like to put this on my dough. So I'm going to roll it out, and I have sticks on each side. You could use popsicle sticks if you want. This happened to come with this roller, and just roll it out so you get the same thickness. And then all you do is just start to use your letters, and these alphabet letters are from Wilton. And we want O. I'm going to have to roll out some more for the E, but I want to get these drying. So I just take this off and get these drying, and I'll be right back, because it's really important to show you how I color them. I made these letters up last night so that they'd have time to dry. As you can see, they have a lot of shrinkage. This is how they started, and this is how they ended up. So you do need to let them dry thoroughly. So now I'm ready to paint, and as you can see, I'm just using my well-loved watercolors. It's just a very inexpensive box of watercolors, and it's just been used and used and used. So I'm going to put some blue on the edges. Now, if the watercolor is not sticking, up here in the corner I have a little bit of dish detergent, and that if you dip your brush in the dish detergent, that's my secret, and bring it back into the color, it helps for it to stick. And we're going to go all the way around the edge. A little bit more water. Oops. Get in all those little crevices so that the blue is just kind of, or the color that you use on the outside, I'm using blue, but that's what's going to make it kind of stand out. And up over the top. Now I do want a little bit of blue, like a wash over the front. I'm going to put a little bit on the front, and then I'm going to take a wipey, and I'm going to wipe it off just to give it a little bit of color. And I'm going to dry that off a little bit. And then we start doing some flowers. Now I'm taking my very fine brush, and all you do is just little strokes to create some like daisies. And again, if it won't stick, you need a tiny bit more detergent. And we're going to put a little bud over here. Now we're going to put some leaves. And then our last little touch, so we want some acrylic paint and the end of a toothpick, and we're going to put some little white blossoms. And there you have your bread dough letter made out of bread and glue, cornstarch, and lemon juice, and you put it on, make your own words and put it on anything that you want. So easy, so much fun, you just have to try it. Wasn't that just a great technique? I love that technique. It's one of my favorites. Think of all the different ways that you can use that technique in your projects. I mean, if you do mixed media, it's perfect. If you do collage, perfect. So think about all the different things that you do and how you can use that wonderful technique that came from Mama Lean. Now, I also have a hint on the plastic container that you mix the bread in. Don't throw these away because you think they're dirty. When you use tacky glue or any paints that you use, they will peel right out of a container like this, a plastic container. So be sure you clean it out. Just pull it out, clean it, wash it up, and it's ready to use again. Now, next, my friend Candace J has this really cool project using Tootsie Rolls. Candace, what are you up to with Tootsie Rolls?
Thanks, Heidi. Hi, everyone. I'm so excited to be on your show today, Heidi. When I heard that you were doing a Fun with Food show, I knew I had to share this project with you. It's the only time that my little ones get to play with their food. Here are 3 of the ways that you can buy a Tootsie Roll. You can get the large in vanilla and chocolate. You can get these newer fruity ones that have exotic flavors like raspberry cranberry, and this one's green apple and fruit punch. Those are very good. And these are the standard little midgies that come. Cherry, lemon, orange, lime, vanilla. I think that's it. Okay, so to start with, the very best way to do this, and especially if you're doing it with your kids, is to carry around your Tootsie Rolls in your pocket for a little while. Yeah, I know. Once they're warm, they soften up. And this is what I would use, this mixture is what I would use to make the hamburger bun. And see how easy that is? When they're cold, they're just hard. So I'll knead and twist that until it starts to become one color. Twist it and roll it. One of my grandnieces wants to make doll furniture with this every time we get them out. We make lamps and sofas, TV sets, all kinds of things. And then one of my grandnephews likes to make them, he'll sculpt like a truck or a monster or something, and then it'll be in action, and they'll be fighting, and then the toothpicks are stabbing, and he just has a great time. He doesn't care what he ends up with because he's going to eat it anyway. So there you can see it's starting to blend. And it was orange and vanilla and chocolate. And in the interest of saving time, I happen to have the perfect color to make a hamburger. So I'm going to split this in half. And press it flat and circular. Okay, so there's the bottom of my hamburger bun. And this one stays a little bit rounded on the top. Like you see in the pictures, when you see a picture of a hamburger, not always when you get them though. They very rarely look like what the pictures are. So that's roughly about right. That's my lid, my top bun. And on that top bun, I want some sesame seeds. So I'm going to take a little piece of vanilla and roll it out. And then I'm going to start taking little tiny pieces, rolling them between my fingers. And, whoa, now they do stick to your fingers, but you can get it to stick on pretty nicely. When you're trying to get them to stick, it's going to feel like they don't want to. There'll be some oils that come to the surface in these where it'll feel like they're just not going to stay together. But I promise you, if you leave it for a little while, they will bond. And you'll have a hard time getting it off. So make sure it's what you want before you rest them together. Now you can put them together to try them and then take it back off. That's not a problem. But once my sandwich is constructed, that'll be all she wrote. And it just takes a gentle touch really to get these little guys to stick on. Okay, so now I want to make my hamburger, and I'm going to need some of this darker chocolate. That has a little of the white mixed in, but that's okay. And now here's where you could use a toothpick to give it some texture on the edge, or you can do what I'm doing and just use your fingernail to give it a little bit of roughness on the outside. And don't worry about the shape of it right now, because you're going to want to stretch it out a little bit, thin it out. You don't want your burger to be too thick. Although, if you like the way a Dagwood sandwich looks, it can be just as thick as you want. Okay, so there's my burger. Now, on top of that, I want some cheese. So I have some orange right here, and it's going to go as flat as I can get it. Usually for the kids, I use a knife to cut, and I do that for them, but they can use the toothpicks on their own. That's fine for them. Okay, let's make this a little thinner, a little squarer, because you want the corners of that cheese to hang off your burger. Oh yeah. So I'm just folding the corners down like you see the cheese on the burger. Maybe move it over just a little bit. All right, yep, I like that. I like the way that looks. Next, my lettuce. I'm going to put my lettuce on. So I'm going to stretch that out in the same way. I'm going to try to get it wider and thinner so I can ruffle the edges. And that's okay. That can break. That's fine. That does not hurt the way your lettuce looks. Okay, just the edges of this are going to show, like the burger and the cheese. And now I'm just going to start doing some random folding along the edge for the lettuce. The thinner the edge, the better. Okay, I like that. That looks pretty good. And I'm going to squish that down just a little bit. Now you've got lettuce. The next is the tomatoes. And if you buy the package of the Midgies that has the cherry in it, the cherry is pink. The fruit punch in the Fruities is much closer to a red. And you want the tomatoes kind of thin too. And I'm just squishing and turning it because I want a rounded edge. One tomato. Two tomatoes. Okay, now I put the top bun on. And there you have a cheeseburger. And you can see, even though I flattened those, each part of the cheeseburger a little bit, it's still really tall. And that's okay with me. All right, now you know you must have French fries. And you can reserve some of the red if you want to make some ketchup like I did in my picture. For French fries, I roll it out and get it as thin as I can, and then I'll start pulling pieces off. And holding it in your palm while you're working with a piece will help you to keep it soft. But if you hold it in your palm for too long, most of the oils will come out of it. Not like it's a real fatty product, but it will be all over your hands. Okay, there's a French fry. There you go. Hamburger and French fries. What could be better? But the taste is out of this world. This project is just too much fun. We do it all the time. I hope that you get a chance to try it, and I hope I get to see it if you do. You can always email me with photos of your work at candace@cool2craft.com. I would love to see them. Thanks, bye!
Thanks, Candace. That was so creative. I would have trouble making that because I would eat all the Tootsie Rolls. I love that project. Thanks so much. So next we're going into the pasta drawer. But I was thinking, how many of you, your kids or your grandkids, have brought home those necklaces made out of macaroni, or the little angel at Christmas time that you made out of macaroni? All those are fun projects. So let me show you what I did with my pasta. Once you start looking at macaroni and different pastas as a craft medium, you will look at them totally different. I found some of these really cool curly ones in an import company. Of course, these are those shells. There's some penny pasta and also some linguine here. So all of these are what I actually used on my project today. So let me show you what I did. Let me push these aside. And I have a paper mache box. Now keep in mind, you can use any kind of box. It's fun to use an old jewelry box, recovered jewelry box, or an old box that you might have. This is just paper mache. And I'm using today the quick dry tacky glue because it's lots of fun to make a project and have it where it dries really quick. For the flower on the top, I'm using just a piece of cardboard from cereal. I cut it into a circle. And it depends again on the size of your box. My large box had a bigger one, and this one is just probably about 2.5 inches across. So I'm going to take my pasta and just put a line of glue where the pasta is going to touch. Oops. And a little bit too much there. Remember that the glue does dry clear. Oops. And sometimes you have to rearrange them so you can get them to fit exactly how you want. So can I fit one more there if I squeeze that out a little bit? And sometimes you can even look for a smaller one. See if a smaller one will fit in there. There we go. Next row, I put them on the edge, the glue on the edge where it's going to touch the cardboard. This is so much fun. Look at this curly one. I love these. See if we can get that to fit right in the middle there. Now, where you have spaces, you can always take these little shells and put them in. Sometimes the tweezers help. See if I can fit one in there. And you set that aside to dry. Then I work on my box. Make sure that doesn't stick to the paper since I had to extend it a little bit. Set that aside to dry. And we'll work on the box. The sides we can do the same thing. We can put these little curlies can change the pattern. And again, make sure that they're going to fit on there. And I did put a little shell, macaroni shell, to fit in. And then the leaf, I took one of these like penny pastas, put glue on it, and then all around it, shells. Make sure that each one gets into the glue. Oops. And see, that one's not going to cooperate, so I'm going to put a little bit of glue on that. I noticed on these little shells that they have one edge that curls over and one that doesn't, so be sure you get that glue on that edge that goes over. There we go. And that's what I did with the leaf. Now on the background, on the top, I had lots of space left over, and I really didn't want the paper mache box to show. So I simply put some glue on and put some of the linguine right into the glue. And I went around everything. And just worked my way up. And I would cut it, or just break it off when I got to these pieces here. Just break it off. And then, see if this is stuck enough. I would take and put some glue on the bottom of this, put it on the top, let it dry, maybe even put some more shells all the way around this, give it a different look. And it is that simple. And like I said, you are going to want to look at pasta differently. Macaroni, the macaroni bows or the pasta bows are wonderful. And just keep on gluing it on. Now I completely let it dry, and then I painted it all white. Now you can paint it any color you want. I've seen it before. I've done it before, like in a beautiful gold, and done mirrors. And then if you want, you can also put like some pearls or some crystals and make it just exactly like you want. Now on the bottom, if you want it to sit flat like that, that's fine. But if you wanted to raise it, you would just simply glue some caps on the bottom. And the caps, I just again take my Aleene's Quick Dry Tacky and just put it right on the edge, because that's what's going to touch, and place it on the bottom. I would remove the label first. Like that, and then you have where it sits up. Isn't that fun? Let's take another look at the finished piece, and you can see all the beautiful macaroni and how I placed it and painted it all white. It's a shiny white and just a beautiful piece. Don't you love all those new pastas? There are so many different design possibilities. And don't forget to do it in your own color scheme. Also, I wanted to give you a hint on using your tacky glue bottle. We often forget that, and we set it up on the desk like this, and then it's not ready when we're want to use it. So if you put it down on the table, get used to putting it down the table like this, then it's always close to the nozzle. Or you can put it in a container like this so the glue's always ready to use. I know how many times I've done this and then I go to squeeze it out and it's not ready. So keep it flat or keep it upside down and it's always ready to use. I also wanted to give you a heads up on a couple upcoming shows. On the June 13th Cool to Craft show, it's a beach theme. So I want you to start saving your plastic bottles like this that have the different textures on them. I have a really cool necklace I'm going to show you. Also on the July 18th show, on the EcoHeidi show, save your bottle caps because I have a cute bug and it'll keep the kids busy for the summer. So don't forget those two shows and start saving those products. So that's all for the EcoHeidi show today. Thanks so much for joining me. We'll see you next time, and don't forget to be eco-friendly and recycle creatively. Bye-bye.